Welcome, this is Dr. Rat once again. This is still AI, though I do want to have the avatar talking during this. Any suggestions on how to do it are welcome. Item number, SCP-4557 Object Class, Heater Special Containment Procedures. Due to SCP-4557's nature, reliable containment of the entity is currently impossible. Foundation personnel have been planted with the New York Police Department and are to report any SCP-4557 sightings. These personnel are to administer amnestics to any and all witnesses that the event SCP-4557 manifests. Mobile Task Force Pi-1 City Slickers are to tranquilize the specimens composing the entity and relocate the subject to SCP-4557-1. The building housing SCP-4557-1 has been bought by the Foundation and access to said structure has been denied to civilian individuals. A chain link fence has been constructed around this structure under the cover story of renovation. Area 555 has been established within this building for the purposes of research on the entity. SCP-4557-1 is to be consistently monitored via CCTV surveillance, and any demanifestations are to be reported to Area 555. Description: SCP-4557 is 5 specimens of the species Procyon lotor raccoon. These specimens form a singular entity in a humanoid form. 1 specimen acts as the torso of the entity. The remaining 4 specimens act as the arms and legs of the entity, biting onto the limbs of center specimen. All specimens are capable of separating and moving of their own free will. The specimens composing SCP-4557 will separate when threatened. The exterior specimens are capable of manipulating objects via the use of their tails. The center specimen is capable of speech, is believed to be sapient, and controls the remaining specimens through a shared intelligence. Of note, the entity acting as the center specimen changes whenever the entity's form is disrupted, and all anomalous properties attributed to the center specimen transfer to the new specimen. When SCP-4557 reforms, the entity often wears a black trench coat and fedora. SCP-4557 shows interest in media depicting police investigation, most notably cinema in the film noir genre. At seemingly random times, SCP-4557 will manifest at the scene of a felony investigation with the intent of assisting in the investigation. Notably, SCP-4557 has a preference towards investigations of murders, though will also manifest at scenes of robbery, vandalism, and arson. SCP-4557-1 is a singular apartment within the redacted building, located in New York City, New York. SCP-4557-1 acts as the current living space of SCP-4557. Following an investigation, SCP-4557 will manifest to SCP-4557-1. Similarly, if SCP-4557 exits New York City, the entity will manifest within SCP-4557-1. Addendum 45571. The following is a video transcript of SCP-4557 appearing at the scene of a murder. The video was taken from the chest camera of Officer A. Extraneous data has been removed for the sake of brevity. Begin log. Officer A stands in a living room. A woman is lying on the ground in a pool of blood. One other officer, Officer P, is standing nearby and inspecting the body. Officer A, does she have an ID? Officer P, yeah. Driver's license. Names redacted. Officer A, does she have a husband or boy? Officer A is interrupted as SCP-4557 manifests near the body. The camera shakes, as if Officer A is backing away from the entities. Officer A, what the fuck is that? SCP-4557, another murder. Seems like it never ends in this city. Every day there's a new body with some freshly spilled blood. Hold on, let me get a taste. SCP-4557 leans down and starts lapping up the blood. Officer P steps back, grabbing his walkie-talkie. Officer P, guys, we have a raccoon problem, but they're talkie. I swear to Christ it's talking. SCP-4557 looks up and faces Officer P. SCP-4557, pleasure to meet you officers, but I've got the case from here. Trust me, this case is in good paws. I'll crack it faster than you can say murder she wrote. Officer A, get away from the evidence. Officer A runs towards SCP-4557. The entities separate and reassemble on the other side of the body. SCP-4557. Several narrow wounds in the victim's back. Bleeding. Aha, Officer P, what the fuck? Guys, get animal control here now. SCP-4557. My dear Watsons, I believe I have a clue. This woman was stabbed. Officer A, what the foo? Should we fire at this thing? SCP-4557. Don't worry, sirs. There is no need to reward me. My payment comes from knowing my city is safe, but a check in the mail would be nice. Officer P, the fuck? Get animal control here right now. This raccoon, he's messing with the evidence. SCP-4557 demanifests from the area. End log. Aftermath. Approximately 15 minutes after SCP-4557 demanifested, Foundation agents were able to enter the scene and administer Class B amnestics to all individuals involved. Addendum 4557-2. SCP-4557 has requested a typewriter from Foundation staff, along with a desk and a lamp. As of November 11th, 20XX, these requests were granted on the condition that Foundation personnel were permitted to examine any writings produced by the entity on a daily basis. The following is an excerpt written by SCP-4557 preceding the events shown in Addendum 4557-2. December 20th, 20XX. It seems like every day, there's a new investigation to start in this city. One starts to wonder why New York keeps itself running with so much scum walking the streets. But I guess that's what I get paid to do. Just today, got another report of a woman found dead in her own home. I knew that this case would be impossible to solve, unless the department were to make use of my cunning wit and charm. They practically begged me to come to the case that I made my way through the rain to her home. The case looked impossible to crack. There were no leads, and the cops there weren't much help either. One of them lost their cool and tried to attack me. Can't really fault him though. I'd be pretty jealous if I were him, having to be compared to someone as impossible handsome as me. But this case seemed cold until I found something, blood and several wounds, all like little slits. It took me a second to piece it all together, but I'd figured it out. The woman was stabbed in the back. Honestly, I don't know what the department would do without me. It seems like they need me every other day to work on a new case. But that's the price one has to pay for being the best detective in the greatest city in the world. Addendum 4557-3. On May 19th, 20XX, SCP-4557 manifested in an office building, owned and used by Redacted Publishing Company. Eyewitness accounts state that SCP-4557 was stood in the middle of the establishment, holding several stacks of paper above the entity's head, all of which were stapled together. SCP-4557 repeatedly offered the stacks of papers to employees of the office, repeatedly entering offices and putting papers on desks. Foundation personnel were able to recontain SCP-4557, administering Class B amnestics to all witnesses. When questioned on its behavior, SCP-4557 explained it was looking for someone to publish his novel. The papers offered by the entity were composed of writings created by SCP-4557, as well as several drawings depicting SCP-4557. Following this incident, SCP-4557's typewriter has been confiscated by Foundation personnel. This was SCP-4557. I love doing these readings, but I don't like how the AI does things. The voice clone is awesome, but doesn't capture my whimsy. Also, I have a set number of AI credits with Filmora, so I cannot keep doing this. However, it is a good way of doing easy content before I do a huge project, hint hint.